The Solo Show is brought to you, as always, by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney in the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Coming up on The Solo Show.
He has no clue how to play this game.
He doesn't. He has no clue. And then he's like, wait, she voted against me? And
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, you got one vote against you. It was her. But she was my friend.
Stan and Dan talk episode 3 of season 46 of Survivor. And just so you know, spoilers start right from the beginning, so if you're not playing along, it's on you. Outwit, outplay, outpodcast. This is the all-new Solo Show.
I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and I specialize in living near Disney World. I work directly with you. I'm not a referral agent. A referral agent takes your name, takes your number, and then sells you to a random agent for a stake in that commission. When you call me, you get me. And I am there for you from the initial consultation through to closing and all the steps in between. You get me. Now, if you want to reach me, visit disneyatyourdoorstep.com for all my links. And you will get me.
And when you do get Victor, tell him the Solo Show sent you. Yeah, Stan says. Come on out to the island. It'll be great. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll sit by the fire. We'll talk about Survivor. We'll talk about the new episodes, you, me, and Dan. Yeah, it'll be awesome. You'll see, it'll be awesome. 2 weeks. 2 weeks I've been sitting here out on this island by myself. 2 weeks I've been sitting out here. No food, no water, snakes everywhere. I'm sitting here going, hey, Stan, hey, Dan, can somebody bring me a roll of toilet paper? You know, just here's the all-new Solo Show. Sound the horn. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Thousands apply, but only 18 are chosen to be abandoned in Fiji for the adventure of a lifetime. Who will have what it takes to outwit, outplay, and outlast all the rest? Survivor 46.
Hello and welcome to episode 3, even though it's kind of our second episode of Survivor 46. Dan and Stan are back. Hey, should we change this to the Dan and Stan show?
Dan and Stan half hour. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So last week we both were not able to record. Dan had the flu, and I'm going through something kind of painful and frustrating, and I want to talk a little bit about that later on when we get into the show. I haven't really talked about it on social media or anything. That people that are close to me know what's going on. But anyways, I also want to let you know we're going straight into spoilers. If you haven't watched episode 3 yet, it's on you. We're giving you a warning right now. We're going spoilers right away. Now, Dan, how do you feel about... Okay, so the first 2 episodes were 2 hours long. Mm-hmm. This week, it's an hour and a half long.
Yep.
In the past, they've been an hour long. What do you like?
You know... I think I don't know if we spoke about this in the last episode or if it was just me and you speaking on the side, but I find myself having to put away a lot of time to watch the show when it's the 2-hour episodes. Mm-hmm. I have to commit myself. Yeah. And that's a lot different than just casually watching the show. So while sometimes it could be a lot, I do think it's really good for character development. Okay. And they have been developing at least the characters that are getting eliminated, I think, pretty well. There's a lot of people they haven't developed yet, but they'll get to it. You know, there's still the whole season to go. I like the hour and a half episodes. I've always liked the hour and a half episodes. I find 2 hours was a little much, but I do understand that for the first episode that maybe you need a little bit more time, I
agree. I think an hour is a little bit too short. And 2 hours is a little bit too long. I really like that hour and a half time limit. The other thing too, though, is Canadian Big Brother started this week. Oh. And that's on right after Survivor. So if it was 2 hours of Survivor, then an hour of Canadian Big Brother, I'm 3 hours.
Do you have Amazing Race?
You have Amazing Race on Wednesday also. Master is on Wednesday, and Family Guy is now on Wednesday. That's the only day I need to watch a TV, and everything's on at the same time.
Oh, that's funny.
The rest of the week, I got nothing to watch. It's all on Wednesdays, except for the Canadian Big Brother's on 3 times a week. But
sure.
Anyways, okay, let's get right into it. So I liked how they did it this week, because in the past, they would kind of talk a little bit. They would show one tribe and then another tribe and then the third tribe, and then they would go back to the second tribe and then back to the first tribe. This time they didn't do that. They kind of went, before the challenge, they showed the purple tribe story, they showed the green tribe story, and then the yellow tribe story, which I kind of liked it that it was like that. It wasn't flip-flopping nearly as much. Did you notice that?
I did notice that, and I think that's they can do that with more time, right? Like they're able to make it into from commercial 1 to commercial 2. We can only focus in on this, you know.
Yeah. So
I like that.
So they started off talking about the purple tribe, which is what Yanu. I like just calling them purple green. I hate doing the Yaunami and Siga. That's just hard names to me. They still don't have their fire. We're 6-7 days in now, and they still don't have their fire.
There have been some pitiful tribes in the course of Survivor history. This one may take the cake, though. Yeah. I don't know. Are they going to win a challenge? I find it hard to fathom that they're going to win a challenge. They seem very weak.
Yeah. Well, they have no protein in them. Like, how much coconut can you eat? You know. Yeah. Banu feels like he's on the outside because he didn't know about the fake idol when they got back after tribal council. The other 3 members knew about the fake idol. Banu was kind of sitting on the outside, not knowing about it. And the excuse that she gave him was kind of silly. Like, it was just, we didn't tell you because we knew that she was going to vote against you. He has no clue how to play this game.
He doesn't. He has no clue. And then he's like, "Wait, she voted against me?" Yeah. It's like, come on, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, you got 1 vote against you. It was her, but she was my friend. He's I don't know. So last week the Canadian representation's gone already. The first one of the of the 3. Is it 3 or 2? Is Soda Canadian?
Soda is. I have it right here.
She's with you.
Is she Long Island?
Long Island, New York. Yeah.
No, I don't have that. I have Jersey, which is not Long Island.
Okay, I've got Long Island, New York. Oh, that's her current residence is Jersey. Her hometown is Long Island, though.
Oh, really? I did not know.
She lives in New Jersey now. Like Happing Chong.
Does it say what part of Long Island she's from? Or does it just
it just says Long Island, New York. Okay. That's all it says. They're not going to give you her address. Like, seriously. Do they have a phone number listed there?
I think Long Island is like, this like little tiny thing. Population-wise, we'd be the seventh largest state in America if we were our own state. So,
Holy cow. Okay, so the Banu talking of it, they could have called this the Banu and Randu. What was his name? Brandon. Banu and Randon show.
Randon and Banu.
Yeah, they could have called it. They call it Wackadoodles Win.
Stan, we were talking about this earlier, I said this to you. I thought this episode may have been one of the funnier episodes I've seen in a while. And it started with that line when he was like, "I'm just a wackadoodle." And then he's like, "Oh, wackadoodles can win too." I thought it was so funny.
Exactly. So him going on about you have to know how to hold them, you have to know how to shoot them, you have to know how to run away, you have to run. He had no clue with this reference what it was, and it had made no relevance to his situation.
Yeah.
In the end, you have to know where to hold them, when to fold them. Had nothing to do with what happening to him. Like, it didn't make any sense. And he used it a couple of times.
You noticed that by the end he got the quote correct the last time he said it. Like, he got better and better as the show went on.
But it wasn't relevant to what was going on.
It still wasn't relevant.
I don't know. But you could tell, like, the lack of food, lack of warmth, getting rained on all the time, the rough ground they're sleeping on. It's doing a number on this tribe.
Yeah, for sure. And as we find out later in the show, it does a number on multiple tribes.
Yeah.
Because that weather just killed them,
Yeah. I watched some scenes that were not shown on YouTube. They were showing, they were put out by Survivor, and they were scenes that were not shown. And they showed the storm that was rolling in.
I saw it. Yeah. It was crazy, right?
They had a rough night that night, for sure. It wasn't fun. Banu, and then when he wants to work with somebody, he doesn't give them anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was talking to Kenzie, and he's saying, "I want to work with you." And she goes, "Okay, well, what's your plan?" "Well, I don't want to let you know what my plan is. I don't want to say any names. Like, I don't want to say who I want to go out." And so she goes, "Well, then you're not playing with me. Then you're not giving me anything." And he's like just standing there dumbfounded. Like, did he never watched the show before?
I'm not sure I'm not sure I know what he expects from people, because he's clearly saying, when he uses that line, "I'm not after $1 million, I'm after 1,000,000 smiles." Well, okay, that sounds nice, but you're not going to win, and I'm not going to play with you if you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, and then my favorite part of the show, when he's talking about Kenzie being mermaid, dragon. From the head to the waist, she's a mermaid, and then the tail is a dragon. Okay, what is a mermaid? The top part is a woman, and the bottom part is a tail. So when he's saying mermaid, is he talking like that's a fish tail? And a dragon tail? Like, it's a woman and a dragon, not a mermaid and a dragon. If it was a dragon's head and a fish tail, it would have made sense. But yeah, it wasn't a mermaid. It was a woman with a dragon tail.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you know what I mean? I didn't, he has, whatever. Anything else on the Purple Tribe? It was basically just like, let's Banu's going and that's it. I don't think there was, I guess they were talking a little bit about maybe getting rid of, who was it, Kenzie?
Yeah, I mean, they're putting the seeds in. I think that, I don't know, my personal opinion is that's just editing there just so you didn't think it was a slam dunk type thing.
Yeah.
But because, I don't know, I think he's such a poor player that, like, listen, I said it in our first round table that we did. I think it was a dumb move knocking out Strength Jelinski right away after you just got annihilated. By that time, it was twice. They lost 2 challengers. And you can see that these challenges are very, very difficult, and they just don't have the strength. Yeah. And there's not going to be a team puzzle only challenge. That doesn't happen in Survivor. Yeah. There's going to be some sort of strength involved in these early challenges.
Watch, Jelinski is like really good at tossing sandbags on small targets that are up high. That's his specialty, and they voted him off.
That's what he does for a living.
They voted him off. So the Green Tribe, they seem to be doing rather well. They are kind of like a kumbaya almost. Everyone's smiling, everyone's happy.
Yep.
They go on a group idol hunt together, which Charlie says, "I don't believe in a group idol hunt. Like, makes no sense."
Yeah.
But yeah, so they all seem to be pretty much getting along and everything. Jem finds the beware advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie was right beside her when she found it, and she quickly slips it into her pants and finds out later on it's a beware advantage. And she goes out at night to look for the little treasure chest. She doesn't put it back where she found it, though. She puts it in a different spot altogether.
Right.
Wasn't the instructions to leave it where it was?
I don't think that was part of the instructions. I think it was just said, come back to this box, not necessarily the spot. That's at least how I read it.
Okay.
Or watched it.
So as we found out,
but I will say that there's not much more anxiety that I get on the show than when they have to sneak off at night. I don't know why, but every time that something like that happens, I'm always like, oh no, I can't watch, because I always feel like they're going to get caught, And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm just a light sleeper in general. I can't picture myself not waking up to that,
Yeah, I mean, you just say. Well, you could just say I have to go to the washroom.
Yeah, but she's gone, right? There's got to be some time that she's gone.
Yeah, it was. I have constipation. I have a hard time right now. I'm not eating. You could come up with excuses. I mean, Banu wouldn't. He would say, "Oh, I went looking for the aisle."
I watched the show before. I know that you're doing something. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're nowhere near where our hole is. You're somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah. So Jem finds the beware advantage. I want to talk a little bit about the beware advantage more so when we get to what happens at the end, because something didn't make sense to me. Because you don't get the advantage until after your tribe loses, and then you get the key to unlock the treasure chest and the advantages inside the treasure chest, but you can't unlock it till you have the key, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or they unlock it for you or something like that. So I want to talk about that later on when we get to the Yellow Tribe. So that wasn't much more with the Green Tribe. That was kind of all that happened.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about the Green Tribe is I think they did a good job with Ben and his character development a little bit when they went on the I don't know, what do you call it, when the 3 of them, one from each tribe, went to the to do that challenge.
Oh yeah. Ben, Liz, and
and Banu.
Banu.
Yeah, which I thought was the best scene of the whole entire episode. Usually I'm not a big fan of that scene, but but I just thought it was so like, it was so out there with the way he was acting. And, the way Ben was like making fun of him, it kind of like to the camera, like when he said something like, "Oh, that sounds like a music line," and then he made fun of the band Oasis. He's like, "Oh, it's definitely an Oasis line." It's just.
I didn't catch that. At all.
Oh, it was so funny. I was dying.
Well, speaking of Ben, like last week, I know we didn't do a recording, but Ben and Charlie doing the music titles between Metallica and that was phenomenal. That was like the highlight of the season so far.
I know, that was so good. Props to both of them for knowing that much about their artists.
Yeah, exactly. So then we cut to the Yellow Tribe, and it's day 7. They're doing extremely well. I mean, they're making beds out of vines, and they've got a nice shelter going. They got a fire going at all times. They're fishing. I said this in week 1, that Hunter guy, I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with. And then when they did the thing about his home, where they go into his house and they show all the challenges that he's built, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like this guy. Yeah, his entire house is filled with puzzles, or one room anyways. I'm not sure if that was his garage or what, but it has all the puzzles from past survivors that he made and memorized. And he proved that we'll get to it but during the challenge, but he's tossed beanbags. He's practiced beanbags like crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that move that he made, I don't think this was something you practiced, but when they're going over that barrel roll, and he just grabbed the legs, they both went over at the same time. Like, such a great move. Like, that got him right back in.
Yeah, it shocked Jeff. Jeff was shocked by that.
Yeah.
Because you could tell that they weren't thinking that this is a way to do it. And for them to figure that out. That was the first time we saw that barrel challenge. If they do it again, is the entire tribe going to try that? Right. Where the person that going next grabs onto the ankles of the person that went ahead of them, and they just go like a centipede over top of the thing. So then all of a sudden, Randall had a rough night. Everyone had a rough night that night, and Randall has a sore arm. He can't move his fingers. His wrist is kind of limp. He got a pain in the neck. He has a pain in the arm. And the medic comes out and says, well, you got a pinched nerve. I could tell you, a pinched nerve is very, very painful, because that's what I'm going through right now. What they suspected he had is exactly what I have. I mean, he got an MRI that day or the next day, whereas I got to wait 6 months because I've got Canadian healthcare before I get my MRI. But yeah, you have to get an MRI to see where the nerve is pinched and to see if you need to operate or not, or if it's something that physiotherapy could work to get out. Luckily for him, physiotherapy was able to do it for him.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like it's working for me, because I'm in a lot of pain all the time. I got to tell you. It's hard to do podcasts. I'm feeling good today. So Randon. What is it? Raiden. Yeah. So he.
Randon. It's rhymes with Brandon. It's Randon.
Okay. Yeah. So he's in rough shape. He doesn't want to participate next challenge, and he doesn't have to. He's allowed to sit out because they got 2 extra players compared to the Purple Tribe. Anything else for the Yellow before we move to the challenge?
I just think that all around, even I mean, we'll get into it obviously with spoilers, but even with the loss that was given to them, I think they're such a strong team. I mean, they are built to win this thing.
Yeah, for sure. So they go to the challenge, and like we said, Yellow and Green had to sit out 2 people, so there's only 4 people competing, and they got this. I think this is a neat challenge where it's a ward and an elimination challenge. I got to say, I'm not a big fan of the ward and elimination challenge being one challenge
combined. Yeah,
I like it better when there used to be the reward challenge, and then in the same show they would do an elimination challenge like they used to do. I kind of preferred that.
Yeah, so they shortened the amount of time that they're on the island, and when they did that, they just don't have enough hours on the island to do it. So that's why they do a lot more.
Okay. So they the challenge starts in the water. They have to go over these steps, over a roller, over a net wall. The one day on the beach, they got to dig in the circle here to find these sandbags. Once they get these sandbags, they got to throw them up in the air and land them on these targets. And the Purple Tribe is in first place. They're the first ones tossing. All right, they're finally going to win. And the Green Tribe came in and they started tossing, and the Yellow Tribe came in, and that Hunter tossed every one of them. It didn't look like I think he missed twice, according to the editing.
Yeah.
And they came in first again. So that's 3 wins in a row, first place for the Yellow Tribe.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you're going to beat these guys.
It's actually 4 wins in a row because the first episode they had 2 challenges.
Right, yeah.
So.
Now, the people that are sitting on the benches, we've seen in the past in Survivor where they had like a clue underneath the bench. Mm-hmm. Maybe they did look and they didn't show that in the editing. But if I was sitting on the bench, I'd be looking all over the place for a clue while you're sitting there. And they probably did. They just didn't edit it that way. But they should show.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone looks at this point.
Yeah, looking like feeling underneath the bench and crawling underneath and looking even when nobody's watching them.
Yep.
So yellow wins first again. Green and purple neck to neck at the end. They only had one more left to get, and green wins. Q, it was like woke me off. It was my fault. after they lost, I don't know. I guess in the moment he felt devastated, and you could kind of see that. So yellow wins, so they get to pick who's going to go on the sub challenge, and so they pick Liz from their own tribe, and then they pick Ben from the green tribe, and of all people, they pick Banu. Like, were they told to pick Banu? Like, they couldn't have picked the worst person. There's 4 people on that tribe. With the 25%.
If you're the team that won, right, and you want to use some strategy, there's not a lot that
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to figure like, okay, what's the best way to get some sort of advantage? I would try to figure out who's in the most trouble to possibly get an advantage and stir things up a little bit. And I don't think it's hard to pinpoint from an outsider's perspective that he's on the outside at this point. So, I actually wasn't surprised. And I was like, yep, that makes sense, And they probably tried to do the same thing with the green tribe and just didn't know who to pick, and and what with Ben,
So they get to they go on the boats, the 3 of them, and they get to this island, and Banu immediately starts crying and telling him how nobody likes him and he's going to get voted off, and this person's working with this person and this person's leading. He tells the entire tribe secrets to 2 people.
And the best part of that was, they cut to back at tribal, and they're like, I bet you he's telling them all our secrets, right? Sitting there, he's like,
yeah, Kenzie and Tiffany and Q are sitting there, man, they couldn't have picked a worse person from our team because he's going to just tell them everything. But I don't know. So the challenges, it starts with they pick rocks. If you get a white rock, you're not playing. So Liz gets the white rock. She's not playing. She's going home. And Ben and Banu get the blue rock. So they're going to play this game where it's a puzzle with you have to put these blocks into a square. And if you do it before the egg timer runs out, you win a reward. They never told us what the reward was, what the advantage was.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of annoying that they never told us that. And we still don't know what the advantage is that's in the chest. We're assuming it's a immunity idol, but we don't know. They just say it's a reward, an advantage.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought they said immunity, but I could be wrong with that.
I think we're assuming it. It probably is.
Yeah.
So both Banu and Ben can't figure it out, and if you don't get able to figure it out, you lose your vote next time you're up in tribal council. So Banu's basically done. He has no vote. Not that it would make a difference. The other 3 are gunning for him, and we might as well turn off the TV now because we already know how it's going to end. Well, turns out that wasn't the end. Because Randon's arm is not getting any better, and the doctors want to pull him. So he gets pulled, and he's gone home. Jeff and the doctor come to the beach, and they say, listen, you know what? We're really concerned about you. You could end up being paralyzed in that arm if it gets worse. We got to take you out. So they take him out, and Banu's safe. Purple Tribe doesn't get to go to tribal council.
I believe his words were, "It's a miracle."
all my praying.
Which I think to myself, oh, so your praying is better than the guy who got Randon's praying. Your praying counts more.
Yeah, evidently. So one guy's loss is another guy's advantage or win, and so good thing he knew when to hold him and when to fold him. It paid off for him.
See, there's this other thing in Survivor that plays a huge part of it, and that's called luck, and that's exactly what it was here. You got very, very lucky. And, now's the time, we'll see what happens. I still don't think he has a shot. And heck, I don't think it's editing. I think he's that bad. But listen, if they wanted to edit the show and he goes far, it would be a really good story arc if he could come back here. But this is the time. Now he's got to do something. He's got to start playing.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. And even when he gets back, he tries to lie, but he can't.
Yeah.
He tries to say, "Oh, I got the White Rock, and I didn't get to play." And then later on, he tells Q right away, "I lied. I'm so sorry.
I lied.
I did the Blue Rock." And Q goes, "Did you lose your vote?" He goes, "Yeah, I lost my vote." He tells him everything. Yeah, it's not. He's not getting the outwit part.
Definitely not.
Of the Survivor. So, Dan, it's that time again.
All right.
Next time on Survivor. So, on the little trailer clip we got, the Green Tribe fights something mysterious in the ground underneath a tree or something like that, and they're kind of digging for it. Who is it that says our brains are melted? It's so exciting. On the Green Tribe, they're excited about this find. Yellow Tribe is saying Soda's got to go. We got to get rid of Soda. And Purple, Vanu admits he said something wrong. I'm assuming he's feeling bad that he lied to them about the White Rock is what I'm assuming he said something wrong about.
That's what I would assume, right?
Yeah. So what's happening next week, Dan? What's your prediction?
I'm going to say that Yellow continues their dominance, but I'm also going to say that I think I'll go with Green. I'll go with Green loses.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Kumbaya has to come to an end soon. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that would be a good episode to try to figure that out.
Okay. I'm going to say the Yellow Tribe loses.
Really? Okay.
Is what I'm going to pick. We'll find out next week, but just how they were talking about, well, Soda has to go. You don't talk that way if you're winning.
True.
So I'm taking that clue to heart. So, and then at the end, then Randon comes in and he says that it wasn't a spinal injury and all his hands working now. He's all fine. Everything's good. Do you think we're going to see Randon in a future season?
I can see that. The Survivor likes to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think there was as much of a outcry from the fans as there were from, what was his guy's name last year that came back? And I think that's because that guy got hurt like immediately, right?
Yeah.
And he was like giving it his all and dove under that wood and smashed his head like within like the first 10 minutes of the episode, right?
Yeah.
So I think like the fans like felt for that.
Yeah.
Randon, while I still think fans feel for it, I don't think it was, he didn't get hurt while giving it his all. He got hurt because it was a terrible weather and
he slept
the wrong way. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we'll say. But I still think Survivor likes to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we'll see him in a future show. It's kind of sad when they bring somebody back because right away they got a target on him. Like even that guy last season had a target on him right away. He was only there for, like you said, 10 minutes. He didn't really. I know, but he sure went to his head. Like he was like thinking that I know how to do Survivor because I was here for 10 minutes.
I'd love to see a season where they bring back all people that were medically evac'd.
You know what I would like to see? I'd like to see a season when they bring back all the first-time voters.
First boots.
Yeah.
I've seen interviews with Jeff about that, and like it's an idea that he said he's always thrown out, but it's just never come to fruition for whatever reason.
I remember that one season there was this woman that, as they were rowing to shore on the boat, she was standing at the bow singing. She wasn't rowing.
I remember that. Yep.
And in the tribe, she was singing the whole time, and she was driving everybody nuts, and they voted her off. I think they lost on purpose so that they could send her home because they couldn't stand her singing anymore. I want her back. I want to see her come back.
So funny.
That was a while back. But anyways, thanks for coming on, Dan. Thank you for listening. If you like the new solo show, share it out if you're a Survivor fan. Even if you're not, you might know someone that's a Survivor fan and you're listening to this because you're a Disney fan and we're not really doing Disney, but you may have someone at work that's a Survivor fan. Say, hey, you know what, I know a guy that's talking Survivor. If you want to listen to his podcast, it doesn't hurt to share it and let people know about us. And with that, Ken, the tribe has spoken.
If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. Like the show and give it a thumbs up on YouTube and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss a new episode. add a positive review on Apple Podcasts, and that will help us grow the channel. All logos, sounds, and music that are made by and for Survivor are owned solely by CBS I Productions, Survivor Productions LLC, CBS Studios, Castaway Television, and Mark Burnett Productions, and are not, nor are they intended to be owned by The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.